What should your meeting schedule look like? How often should you do one-on-ones, catch-ups, team meetings? Let's discuss this a bit on a higher level for day 15 out of this 90-day game plan. Hey, and welcome back. I hope you've had a good first 2 weeks. We're starting into the third week. It's been going quite well. I'm going to be showing a couple of the kind of numbers and updates a bit further down the line in the next update. So make sure you subscribe, click the like button so you don't miss anything. But today I want to kind of attach a bit or connect a bit to the past sessions and discuss a bit on probably a bit more productivity, team meeting schedule, I think as a whole a bit. Obviously, it depends a lot on what your organization looks like. It depends a bit how big your organization is, depends a bit on what kind of structure you have. For example, we have about 100 team members. We do office days on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All these things kind of play a bit and factor in because for that, I try to do all the team meetings Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I have most of the calls that I need to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So with the remote team members, I try to do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. With team members here in Singapore, we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's kind of the rough outline. Now, obviously, if you have, for example, only work from home or you have everything in the office, that may change a little bit, right? So just kind of keep this a bit in mind. I think that's straightforward. The other things is I try to structure my days a bit on a theme. So, for example, I have mostly product and marketing on Monday, right? So I don't do the legal or compliance or finance or all these kind of more corporate topics on Mondays. I try to do product and marketing on Monday. That's just what I prefer doing. Also, I like to keep my Fridays a bit easier, a bit lighter, because many times a lot of the meetings flow over. There's certain catch-ups that I need to do, and then it's easier to just schedule them still on Monday and not on Friday and not have to wait until the next week on Monday. But obviously, again, this is a bit of a personal preference, and I really leave this up. To me, I used to start my Mondays always as a first meeting with my co-founder. Now, obviously, this is not happening anymore. So what we're doing now is that every Monday, 9 a.m., we have the senior leadership get-together. There's a casual breakfast. I invite everyone. We have coffee. We talk a bit. It's a bit of a mix of some socializing. How was the weekend? How's everything going? Obviously, some friendship building. At the same time, we talk a bit of business on what's happening during the week, right? So it's kind of a bit of a mix there. And it's just kind of getting the week going. It's kind of this fixed kind of appointment at the beginning of the week. I really like this. I really think this is absolutely essential to kind of get the week going and having kind of that first meeting. So I think that's always super essential. Then with all my senior leadership team members, I do weekly one-on-ones. I'm someone who does weekly one-on-ones. There are people who love to do a daily stand-up, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. as a stand-up. I don't know. To me, it's not me. I don't like that. And the last thing I want is that every Wednesday, for example, because Monday we're doing breakfast anyways. What I don't like is that on Wednesday, 9 a.m., we sit around and then, I know, it's like 15, 30 minutes and everyone's just like, yeah, you know what's happening. I mean, we discussed this already, blah, blah. I don't know. I feel this is not so productive. And I'm generally trying to keep meetings to a minimum. So I'm not such a big fan of those like daily stand-ups. But I want to be very, very clear. Depending on the seniority in your team, and this is really important, you may actually consider the exact opposite, which means you have a daily stand-up and a daily checkout. It could totally be necessary. For example, that at 9 a.m., you do a check-in with everyone, what's everyone doing, and then 5 p.m., for example, you do a daily checkout and you discuss what was done, what's still left over, and this could easily be done. It depends a bit on the manager, and I really specifically saying manager here because I differentiate between leadership and management. I think that's really management. So I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm just saying it's not me. It's not my style. Also, in general, the people I work with are generally quite senior already, right? So they know their stuff. They have been working in the field for at least 10 years. So it's not that I have to sit there, handhold them because it's their first day on the job ever. They're not fresh graduates, for example, right? Who don't have any experience. These are people who generally have been through 1, 2, 3 companies already, and they come with a ton of experience and they really know how to kind of run the show. So that's my thing. I do a weekly catch up with my direct reports. Depends a bit on some. It's a bi-weekly. Depends a bit on the subject because on some fields it's not such a frequent thing, right? So, for example, if we talk about compliance or on the legal side, generally, unless there's obviously ad hoc things, but most of the time it's not like a day-to-day thing where I don't know, you have like every week something. In general, this is a lot of routine things. And then every once in a while, new stuff pops in. But obviously on product and marketing, this is super dynamic, right? Everything changes on a day-to-day basis, product timelines and so on. So it's a bit of a different kind of pace in all this. So that's those one-on-ones. The thing that I hate the most are large team meetings. So for me, actually, the only large team meeting, and for me, a large team meeting, I really follow Jeff Bezos' rule there. Anything that is above the 2 pizza rule, so anything where 2 large pizzas don't feed that team anymore is a large meeting for me. I try to avoid as much as possible. In general, the only large team meetings that I personally attend are the pulses. We do them every other week. The pulse is something where different teams all present around product, marketing, compliance, legal, and so on. And to me, that's just important that once every 2 weeks, takes about 45 minutes, everyone in the company is really aligned more on the roadmap and those things. I know this is like a super expensive from a cost perspective with the personnel and how much time, but I really think it is key to have that every other week. And then obviously the all hands, generally the all hands, we used to do town hall every 2 weeks. This has changed now in the 90-day game plan where we do these all hands. Many times we do them very ad hoc, very spontaneous. But then I make sure we have at least one every 2 weeks. But I think at the moment we're doing it actually every week. And all hands normally between 15 and 30 minutes. Bit of me obviously giving some energy to the team, giving some updates on the numbers, maybe some key focus points, answering anonymous questions. I'm a big fan of anonymous questions. I'm a big fan of anonymous questions that are not shown to the other team members. Why? Because otherwise you always have these trends, right? Where people see the question of other people and then they double down on them, triple down, and then suddenly you get all these trends that, I don't know, for some weird reason are just always a bit awkward. So I don't like to do open anonymous questions. To me, they should be closed. I don't answer all the questions because sometimes the questions just don't make much sense to answer, but I try to answer even the tough ones that I at least think they make sense a lot. So that's always a bit of the key kind of structure in this. Town hall to me generally happens rather on a Friday, but we do have these town halls or all hands also sometimes during the rest of the days. Depends a bit. And then the rest of the meeting schedules is very thematic. So for me, it's really about the theme, it's about the topic, it's about the subject, right? It could be around, I don't know, getting a certain product or a certain thing live. And we have a very specific meeting on that. Could obviously be on the compliance or legal side when there's a specific topic. Also on the legal side. For me, for example, I struggle a bit having like let's say a marketing meeting, just a general marketing meeting, but obviously that doesn't mean the marketing team shouldn't have that meeting. It's just that I am not in that meeting, where, for example, the marketing team should have a marketing all hands meeting or like a weekly stand-up, right, or something. I think that's absolutely necessary, but I shouldn't be in that. But for me, for example, I struggle having a marketing meeting with 10 people and everyone just sits around and wastes time. For me, it should be a very specific one where, for example, we do a brainstorm session around XYZ, right? So let's say a good example is, for example, the tax situation, right? So we want to improve our product and services for taxation. And so we had a very specific meeting on this, and we get product in, we get UX in, we get this. We have like 4 or 5 people, and everyone is in a room. It's a brainstorm session. We're in the whiteboard. And so these are super, super creative sessions and very important meetings. The exception to all of this is my assistant, where we are actually having a catch-up almost on a daily basis, and sometimes even twice. There's no way around this, and this is just absolutely normal. These catch-ups normally are very short and very down to the point, right? So this is, just on kind of a bit of the overview and outline. What I didn't discuss here are meetings that are less frequent, for example, performance reviews, board meetings, OKR sessions, and so on. We're going to go into those in separate videos because obviously this is, for example, performance reviews and so on. Whole different story. Board meetings as well. We're going to have a Q2 board meeting coming up, so I'll definitely discuss this as well, what this looks like, what should be included. But this is just kind of what my week looks like. On the Tuesdays and Thursdays, way fewer meetings, way easier time for me to focus getting actual stuff done and working out things for the other days. So that's a bit of what this schedule looks like. Let me know if you have questions, suggestions. Obviously, it depends a bit on how big your organization is, how big that team is. But you can let me know questions and so on down below. I'll do a separate meeting on note-taking. I don't want to do this here because I think this is going to fill another video. So note-taking for meetings, follow-ups, and so on. So we'll do a separate session on that, but you can let me know if you have questions on this. So with this, I hope you subscribe, like button. See you tomorrow. Thanks so much, Julian.